Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. We're taking a look at the first round series in the 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs between the number 1 seed, President's Trophy winning Colorado Avalanche taking on the number 4 seed, St. Louis Blues. We'll be taking a look at this series, my predictions, as well in this video. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one here for the 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. So let's get right into this series. So you have the Colorado Avalanche, who won the President's Trophy this year for the most points during the regular season. A team going into this year we knew was going to be good. Joe Sakic has done some really good things with this team. And we knew out of the gate there may be some issues with, some of the young defensemen and the new defensemen on the roster, guys like Bowen Byram, a guy like Devontae's who comes in. You see, a merge of other guys as well, like Jacob McDonald, Ryan Graves, Kyle Burrows. I mean, you're seeing all these weird names for the Avalanche on defense, and they're all playing really well. Not to mention you have the regulars, guys like Cale Makar, and guys like, Eric Johnson. I mean, they have some really good defensemen there in Colorado. And this is a team that's going to be a really tough opponent to play. And we've seen what they've done here over the last couple months. They are the team to beat. And this is going to be a tough matchup for the St. Louis Blues, the former 2019 Stanley Cup champions. They have their work cut out for them here in the first round. So you look at these two teams on paper. Like I said, Colorado has one of the best defensive cores in the entire NHL. But you also look at their record, 39, 13, and 4 to end their season this year. 82 points, which is tied for Vegas, which just adds to the storyline. But because they had the better, they won more games against Vegas this year. That was the tiebreaker. Colorado wins the President's Trophy, but it was very close to Vegas. Now, if you guys know, there is the President's Trophy curse, and that could go into this year's playoffs. Now, if you don't know what the curse is, basically when you win the President's Trophy, Vancouver in 2013, when teams win the President's Trophy, usually they struggle in the postseason. We saw the Tampa Bay Lightning do this a couple years back when they lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets, who just got in by the skin of their teeth into the postseason. They swept the Lightning in that series. But a lot of it has to do with the mentality going into the postseason, that they really, they've had at least a month off going into the postseason, so they haven't played any difficult hockey. That is not the case this year, though. We saw the Avalanche not really doing that. They did have their third goaltender, Jonas Johansson, in the other night for their final game of the season. But at the end of the day, throughout most of this season, because it was only a 56-game schedule, I don't think there is that big of a gap. I mean, a lot of these teams didn't make the playoffs till really the other day. So it's kind of one of those things where it wasn't set in stone as early on as it normally would be. So Colorado winning the President's Trophy, congratulations. I mean, the Avalanche had one of the worst teams in the mid-2010s, and now here they are as a Stanley Cup contender. And this is going to be a really good team. And you look at what they're doing, like I said, you have some big decisions to make this summer, but that's for another video. But you have guys like Gabriel Landeskog, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen. I mean, you've got a really good team there. Not to mention some of the depth they've added with guys like Jonas Donskoy. That's a good team. The St. Louis Blues, on the other hand, they're a different story. And for most of the season, they didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs. It looked like maybe San Jose or Arizona was getting in the postseason. And then St. Louis did St. Louis things. We've seen the Blues do this in the past. 2019, they were going to sell off all their assets, and all of a sudden they turn the page and they go on a run toward the playoffs. And that's what they did again this year. They did the same thing. And this is something where this series is a little bit concerning for me. Or if you're, betting on a series, this probably isn't one you want to bet on either. I was talking about Vegas and Minnesota in my video a couple minutes ago, but this is another series where it's like, I don't know if I'd want to bet money on this series because these two teams are very close. Despite Colorado winning the division and being the first place seed, the fourth seed St. Louis Blues, the way they've played here the last couple months, they are going to be a really good team in this year's playoffs. With Jordan Binnington playing as well as he has, and the scoring finally picking up for the Blues have been very good. They've won, I think, like 18, or gotten a point in 18 of their last 20 games. I mean, they have been ridiculously good. And I think that's going to be a problem for the Colorado Avalanche in this year's postseason. They better watch out because, yes, they won the President's Trophy. Yes, they won their division. But the St. Louis Blues, the way they've been playing, that consolation prize, that series is not really something that you should be celebrating too much. That is a really good team in St. Louis. Goaltending-wise, honestly, both these teams are kind of in the same boat. They have their goaltender, and then the second you have to throw in the backup, things get a little bit more shaky. For Colorado, you have Philip Grubauer. There's my boy Grubauer. So he's been playing very well this season for the Avs. Expect him to start in Game 1. And then for the St. Louis Blues, they got Jordan Binnington. And he's been their guy. And anytime they put in the backup, there is concerns. So the second that Binnington or Grubauer, God forbid, they get hurt or they have to be pulled in a game for the backup, there is some genuine concern at that point. Because you look at, for Colorado, they have Jonas Johansson, I think, as their backup right now. And for St. Louis, they have Ville Husso, who has just not been that good for the St. Louis Blues this year. And he didn't get off on the best foot. Hopefully next season he could turn it around. But going into the postseason, if we see Ville Husso starting games, that could be close to the end at least for the Blues, because that could be a real problem. But overall, these two teams are very close. And if you look here at the tail of the tape that was given by the NHL, the St. Louis Blues and the Colorado Avalanche played each other 8 times this season. And the Colorado Avalanche won 5 of those 8 games. So they favor in that regard. They're going to have home ice in this series as well. And like I said, so 5-3 for Colorado, 3-5 is the record for the St. Louis Blues. Yikes, not too good there. Goals for, pretty close, but again in favor of the Avalanche. 26 goals for this season against the Blues for the Avs. And for the Blues, they've picked up 21 goals, which is only 5 goals back. Again, it's enough of a difference where it matters, but it's not that big of a difference. You look at the top leading scorers in this series this season. You have Nathan MacKinnon with 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points, almost 2 points per game against the Blues this year. And Ryan O'Reilly, 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points against the Avalanche this season. His former team, the Colorado Avalanche. So a little bit of a storyline there. This is going to be a great series. These are 2 good teams in that West Division. And at the end of the day, we knew Vegas and Colorado were going to be the top teams in that division, but everything else is kind of falling weird. We see some of the former Central Division teams get in, like St. Louis and Minnesota, and we've never really seen these teams play each other in the postseason. Maybe the Avs and the Blues a little bit, but it's going to be a different situation here, and I kind of like it, honestly. I think this is going to be a really good playoff series. You have 2 teams in the central part of the U.S., in Colorado and St. Louis, not too far from each other, a little bit of a rivalry, and we could see that develop in this series. And like I said, the St. Louis Blues have plenty of guys from that 2019 Stanley Cup run, guys like O'Reilly and Binnington. They have guys that are going to be a problem in this series. And the Avalanche, they are trying to be that next team to win that Stanley Cup. And we've been talking about the Avs long enough here. When are they going to finally get a cup for Nathan MacKinnon and Gabriel Landeskog? Maybe this is the year. A lot of people have them going to the conference finals. It's too early for me to say anything like that, but I am going to go with the Avalanche in this series. I think they're going to win this one in 7 games. I think the Avalanche, the reason is they have the depth. They have the depth, and I think they just have a better team than the Blues. And it's not to say the Blues have a bad team. I think the Blues are a very good team. And the way they've been playing recently, they've been very hot going into the postseason. So I think it's going to take 7 games for the Avs to knock these guys off. They have a lot of talent, and I think they're a team, they're a force to be reckoned with here in the postseason. So, like I said, I'm going with the Avalanche in 7 games over the St. Louis Blues. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you think of this series between the Colorado Avalanche and the St. Louis Blues? Leave your predictions and the amount of games it will take in the comments down below. And if you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to see the latest news around the NHL, you guys know what to do. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and let's go Avs.